very warm
Thank you.
welcome to you to Franchise India.
Thank you. It's nice to be here. I've
Yes.
told these nice people that we've spoken on the phone so many times. It's the first time we've had an actual
Yes, one-on-one. Sure.
handshake. So it's good to be here.
Yes, yes. And I'm glad that you are here with us, with the Franchise India family. I'm Beny Sachdeva. I'm the assistant editor with the Franchising World magazine and for the Franchise India media, like for franchiseindia.com. And as you being the veteran of the franchise industry, I've just gone through your background. So it is actually a pleasure to have you here with us.
Thank you very much. Pleasure's all mine.
Yes. So, John, first of all, I would like to know about the restaurant industry that, as you've been instrumental in the franchise industry since so long, and you play a lead role in restaurant business for so long. So, just a brief on that. That how have you seen franchise has evolved as a business model, and how has it actually helped the restaurant industry across the world through franchising grow?
That's a quite large question, but let me try to break that down in parts. I think to start with
Sure.
the restaurant industry's franchise business, and I'm speaking more of what I'd call casual dining or full service dining versus fast food versus the McDonald's or the Pizza Huts of the world. In the late 80s, when full service, and in my case, it was TGI Fridays, decided that it was time for them to start looking at international business. The ownership at that time of Fridays was Carlson Companies, and Kurt Carlson, that's Radisson Hotels, Carlson Companies. Radisson Hotels, Kurt Carlson, who was the owner of that company, the principal, actually came into our office in Dallas and said, "We're going international," and walked out of the room. And 4 or 5 of us sat around and looked at each other like, okay, let's try to do that. And
that was in 80s. We're talking about 80s.
That was in the late 80s.
Sure.
Within 10 years, we had opened, when I was still there, we opened our 400th store. That was in Paris.
Sure.
But we opened in, I don't even know how many countries, 40 or 50 countries. That is today, Fridays is a very different company today, but their largest business is the international business. There are more international stores now than there are domestic stores in the US with Fridays. And I think that pretty well opened the door. Chili's very quickly followed Fridays developing. We did some enormous developments, 70 stores in Russia. In Middle East, North Africa, I think we were at about 85 or 90 stores with very large, great franchisees. And that pretty well opened the door to American casual dining growth. And the world was changing then. Disposable income around the world was increasing, which opened the door for higher end, higher check, I guess I should say.
Sorry,
businesses
I didn't get it.
And kind of an interest in all things American. American entertainment was on a high, movies, television, and those things all, as we call it at Fridays, created an Americana feeling. And Fridays did everything except wave an American flag out the front door of saying, "We're Americana. Come in there and have an American experience." When we opened in China, I remember interviewing people that said, "When I come in here, I feel like I'm an American." And that was quite a large thing for us in the 80s and 90s.
So basically,
I hope that answers.
Yes, definitely. So it all started in 80s, and still it has evolved, as you've seen how it's been more than 35 years. So this means that you are associated with the brand and you're into franchising. So can you highlight some successful case studies of restaurant franchises, as you've just mentioned one, that have effectively expanded into international borders? So any other case study if you can mention?
Well, of those that I've been involved with, obviously Fridays is the one that was most successful. Ruby Tuesdays, a business that developed in the Middle East. I don't know if you're familiar with Ruby Tuesdays. It's a casual dining brand developed in the Middle East, here in India as well.
Sure.
Not to the extent that Fridays has done, and Ruby Tuesdays, I think probably has 15 or 20 stores in the Middle
Yes.
East,
Yes.
Canada. I don't know what their status is here right now. Sbarro, which was a pizza company,
Sure.
is a pizza company,
Yes.
and is doing extremely well now
Yes.
worldwide.
It
I
is.
think
They have their
American
master franchises in Mumbai, Sbarro.
Oh, okay. It at one time was held here by the Jan family,
Yes.
some time ago, Gaurav Jan, who also had been the Ruby Tuesdays franchisee. And I understand they're no longer in the restaurant business here. But I think American and European franchise models are successful pretty much worldwide at the moment.
Definitely.
Asia is an incredible market for US brands. I was in the Philippines 2 weeks ago in Manila,
Sure.
working with a group there called Bistro. Their original business was TGI Fridays, a gentleman named Bill Stelton. Today they have 18 brands. They've just opened their 200th store. They have everything from Darden Fridays to Texas Roadhouse, Longhorn. They've just signed Fugo de Chat, hugely successful. American brands are, well, first of all, he's a tremendous operator, but American brands, the Philippines have been unbelievably successful. In Taiwan and in Japan, both of the Fridays groups have multiple concepts there now too. So I think it's alive and well, the food and beverage franchise business
Sure.
worldwide.
Yeah, sure. So, as a representative of Dividend Restaurant brands, you're here in India, what factors do you consider while evaluating the potential for entering into Indian market?
Really good question. The brands that we have are high-end brands, full
Sure.
service,
They all are premium
quite
brands,
high,
right?
premium brand, quite high check average. We believe that the certainly the necessary income is in India to support these brands. We believe the acceptance of very high-end, very polished brands with, outstanding wine selections, quality food. We believe the market is here,
Sure. So,
which is why we're sitting here with
so you see a
brands
lot
global.
of potential in India, in India
We
market.
do,
Sure. And
we do.
so
It
can
is
you,
not a,
sure, please go on.
I was going to say, it's a different category than casual dining. So we don't think we'd have the numbers of stores that would be potential, but we believe these would be very much destination restaurants, meaning
Sure.
I want to go to this restaurant versus I'm hungry, there's a restaurant.
Sure. So can you elaborate on the criteria or characteristics of this premium range of restaurants you're planning to get into India? And what kind of characteristics do you look at for franchisees while selecting your partners in India?
The franchisee, obviously, that we're seeking has to have an understanding of the market, an
Sure.
understanding of what these premium brands represent, and obviously the financial ability to build
Sure.
and operate or to employ the people that are necessary to understand these brands and build and operate. They don't have to be owner operated, obviously, but the owner needs to put in place the structure to operate them. Does that make sense?
Yes. Can you elaborate on the franchise business model you're looking at? You will operate through for these restaurants, like would it be a FOCO model, a COCO model, like what kind of models will be? Like franchisee owned, company operated, company owned, company operated, or franchisee owned, franchisee operated? What kind of business model
Okay.
would you
We
prefer
would
the
not
restaurant
operate.
to operate through?
It would be very much, we are seeking, as I said, these qualified franchisees
Sure.
We would give them obviously the training, the support, the ongoing support, but no investment on our part. It would be their investment. It would be
Sure.
their business.
So basic franchisee invested in company operated, right?
And franchisee operated. Yes.
Sure. Okay. And what market trends or consumer insights have actually influenced you to take the decision to have an India entry? Like across the world, if we talk about what kind of trends have you recently witnessed, or consumer insights that that you took the decision of bringing this premium brands to India market?
Well, again, great question. I know a bit about the growth and
Sure.
the income levels and the things that are happening in India. As I'm sure you're aware, the whole world looks at India as being an exploding market with a very, very bright future, and we want to be part of that. It's also the reason that I contacted Venus and her organization here to say, let's talk and see what we can do.
Sure.
So we're very, very bullish on India for future growth.
Sure. And one very important question in regards with the brand essence, to maintain the brand essence like of the Dividend Restaurant Group in international expansion. How would you do that? How do you ensure that the essence and identity of the brand is preserved when adapting to the Indian markets, Indian culture and culinary preferences? How would you do that?
Well, again, not any different really than any of the other brands we have. We refer to them operations people. They're directors or VPs that travel extensively to these markets. No different than we would do in the United States, and ensure that the brand operates to brand standards, work on menus, work on food quality, food service, wine quality, all of those things that are inherent on it's who we are, what our brand is. Brand standards are extremely important.
Any specific, any quintessential research or analysis did you conduct at the US level for Asia market, or specifically for the India market? Any research? What kind of research did you do?
Formally, no. Informally, obviously, I've been really blessed to know an awfully lot of operators and people around the world that a phone call or a text away to help. And that's difficult information to really, from a government source or any of the other more official source, to really digest. I think talking to someone actually in the business on the ground has been more helpful.
So under the brand Dividend Group, it's an umbrella. So you have sub-brands. Which brands, primarily would you focus on to get into India? Initially, you
Eddie Merlot's.
Sorry?
Eddie Merlot's is the brand name that we would use with modification of the menu. One of the other brands, Sullivan Steakhouse, would not be something we could do in India. But Eddie Merlot's, we're already working, our culinary department is working on some menu revisions that has more protein from seafood and chicken, some vegetarian dishes. Again, it's a very, very polished brand that I think with those menu tweaks would work quite well.
The customization, the work on customization is already going on.
Right. Yes.
That's
already.
Great. Yes. So how do you envision the long-term growth and expansion of the brand here, considering the factors like competition, evolving consumer preferences, and definitely not to ignore the economic trends in India?
Again, a big question. I think, as I said at the start of our Zoom call, the growth unit number growth would be smaller than a casual dining restaurant. But a city like Delhi, and I'd really have to have some direction from Venus and her team, but I think it's certainly multiple. It's not 50, but it could be 3 or 4. I think we need to really kind of lay out a map of India and say who's operating in these markets, where the high-end areas of these markets, and build kind of a map from there about what our growth would be and what we think our eventual growth could be here.
Sure. Do you plan to have a master franchisee or an area developer, or do you want to begin it as a unit franchise model for this brand?
I think that's a discussion that needs to be ongoing.
Sure.
To see what would work best for us in India.
Sure.
I'm not opposed to a master franchisor, nor am I saying we only want to go that direction. That's to be
because
determined.
India is a diverse market. India is a diverse market. As you've just said, it's India is at its peak, like it's growing. Yeah, there's an exponential growth, specifically in regards with the restaurant industry, F&B industry. The numbers are booming.
Yes,
I think so. It's
are,
the
as
right.
I said, worldwide focus.
Yes, the time is right for the brand, to foray into the India market. And the last question I have, we've been talking about AI and so much technology post-COVID, and specifically in the last 2 years. So how do you think AI has actually enabled the brand's growth? And how has it actually affected the restaurant industry across the globe?
I'm not sure at this point that AI has made a huge impact, although it will. One of the things that we've done at DRG is put all of our training, it is all now digitized in a truly phenomenal training format that internationally works extremely well for us. India would not be as difficult, but some of the markets that we do go into, English is not as spoken as whatever the native language is. So these are all on basically an iPad, but everything from a very extensive menu development, how items prepared, walking through the steps. And I think at some point, as AI continues to develop, we will be incorporating some of that into these visual or electronic training aids. It is truly astounding what we've been able to do with that. You'll still have a training person, a training team there, but you could be trained to be a cook, a bartender, or a server without ever putting your iPad down. Truly phenomenal system. And it allows any changes we have to be made instantly, worldwide.
Sure. Any technical upgradation you have introduced to the brand? Like just for an example, if there is a franchisee training going on, or there is a CRM. So how do you think technology has actually enabled the brand to grow? Like how have you enabled technology for your brand for franchise growth?
Well, I don't know if I'd say it's directly to franchise growth, but it is certainly to operations, as I just said on that training. Certainly with everything in the kitchen, that if you are behind the line and you're preparing food, you have visuals of plating guides, everything is right in front of you, rather than somebody saying, oh, I got to remember to do this. If you look up and you see the plating guide at your plate, we get consistency and standardization that used not to be in the full service business.
Sure.
The restaurants are very technically advanced at this point and moving every day more and more. Our IT guy is a very popular guy in the company right now.
That's great. That's great. Okay, so last question. Any top 5 locations you've already finalized, or any top 5 cities pan-India, like any metro cities like Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, any top 5 cities?
You just named them.
Sorry?
This will be part of my ongoing discussion later today with these nice people at France Global.
So let's get to hear this soon, that which all locations have been finalized for the brand. And all the best.
Thank you very much. Pleasure meeting you. And
same here. And yeah, I'll send you the link once we upload it. And the
Okay, thank
content,
you.
once I send the magazine, I'll put it in the magazine.
Okay,
Sure. Thank you.
perfect.
It was
Pleasure
really nice
talking.
talking to you. Nice meeting you, and
My
all the
pleasure.
best once again for the
Thank
brands
you
that
so
you're
much.
entering. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, John.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
Thank